then is to look at this exercise. And as I said at the last time, this is a workshop. It's not really something to just pass through and listen. You really need to have a device, some notebook, some pad, some device if you are good at using computer or your cell phone. Get something that you can actually do the work, because it is work. There's no way at the end of the day that you're going to get to a better state without some work. So that's it. It's going to be 90 days of intensive work to get to this better you. Why am I using 90 days? Research indicates that in order to get a new habit in place, it takes about 63 days. This is some research done by a university in the UK. So I'm just rounding it out. It's easier to think about a 90-day, a 3-month span. So that's really what its goal is, that we couldn't embed new habits, new desirable habits, or we could actually get rid of undesirable habits over these 90 days, but it takes work. So full disclosure, it's not just okay, let me pass through and listen. It's really more about how it is that we can set about getting this done. So the first part was to look forward, to say, okay, fine, this is where I want to go. And I'm giving you some techniques as to how to look at that. Today was supposed to be, notice the words, was supposed to be about cleaning out stuff. Yes? So you will move into a new house, or whatever it is. The goal then would be, all right, fine, let me get rid of some of this junk, because I don't want to carry this into the new place. So that's the mindset that we want, that the vision that I have of me going forward. Some of the stuff that I'm carrying now, I don't want over there, believe me, because it's going to corrupt me, and I don't want that. So I need to jettison a lot of the stuff that I now have in order for me to be comfortable in the new vision, the new me. Also, a lot of the stuff that I have now actually limit the possibility of my getting there. So that's what today is about. I suspect, and also given our numbers, I think we have challenges today, maybe it's a long weekend, etc. It might be that come the first Saturday in where we know May, we might actually focus then on the cleansing side. How do we get rid of the clutter? All right. Any questions? Am I clear with that? All right. So Rowan established the principle of asking questions at the end, because of the workshop nature, because of the need to be hands-on, very active. I'm saying the mics, hand up first, just for some discipline. It's open, chat is open. Let's, as we go forward, be active in the process. All right, so we started out by saying that we need to, it's critical to understand the why. If you are going to be different in 90 days, there has to be a compelling reason. There has to be something that, man, I have to do this. I need to do this. And one of the things that we emphasize is that, let me move this out of the thing, is that it's good to have a desire, to have this idea to say, okay, yeah, I want to be better, and it would be nice to do it. However, a stronger incentive would be if there is some pain, some frustration, some issue that really nags at you that you want to get rid of. In other words, I can't take this poverty anymore. I can't take this, whatever it is that, if you identify some of those, you will be probably more incentivized, more motivated to go the distance. So I'm just suggesting that, again, we stop and look at why would I want to be better in 90 days? What is it? What to say that I did it, or why? So the key then really is to have some kind of issue, some issue that is not pleasing to you, some issue that is more than a discomfort, some issue that is painful, ideally. That every time, oh man, I'm here again. No, something can't take this out. No, that's where you want to go. And if you can identify a couple of those, or at least one major reason, then you're likely to continue the process. So really, one of the things that underpins this journey is an appeal to neuroscience. And, we went into the whole issue as to the fact that the brain, the neuroplasticity, that actually there's a physical, even today, by the time we finish here, right now, there are new pathways that are starting to come. There are some physical changes taking place in our brain as we go through new information. And so this whole idea that, by the time you're at 3, 4, whatever it is, that it's, fixed for life, that's not the case. We, even in our, adult stages of life, the brain still continues to be changed. It's malleable. So this neuroplasticity thing is the key. So what we're doing then is to understand that this is serious business that we're going about. And if we follow the process, it means that at the end of the period, from your 63 days going on to your 90 days, you will have created new pathways that are aligned to the vision that you have. You will have stopped using some of the pathways that are causing you to, no, not again, no, not again. We would have stopped using those routes, right? So that's what it is about. I like my analogy. I maybe should have pulled up that image where you have the lawn, nicely kept green lawn, and it's across the way from where you live to the bus stop, let us say, go back to the bus stop, etc. And rather than walk around, we take the shortcut across the nice green lawn. And the first day we decide, some camera walk around, the path that you take to go across to the other side might not be determined. So you kind of have to look to see where you're going, where you're going, etc. The next day, some of the grass is trampled a little bit. And by the time, you go a few days, it's clear, After a while, as a matter of fact, it's dirt in the middle of the thing. That's basically what's happening in our brains physically, is that the habits are actually physically. They're there. That's why when the trigger comes, it's just automatic, In other words, after a week or two, when you step out of your apartment, you can actually be on your cell phone and walk across because, it's just, if the path is there, you don't have to look to see if there's any stone or whatever. It's there. The path is cut for you. That's what happens with the brain. That's where the habits come. It's just automatic. We just follow. Trigger, do. So all I'm saying to you is that this is a serious thing. So those of us who are not 5 or 6 years old know that maybe over many years, we have been creating pathways that respond to triggers. So if you understand the dynamic, if you understand the work that's involved, is that you have to abandon those pathways. You have to resist when you come out. You say, no, you have to walk around. Yeah, but it's right there until, the dirt is, the path is there. And the bus will come, you have to stop. That's what it is. Yes? And go. Ideally, you should get the community together and let them put a fence around, around the nice lawn so that there, you'd have to climb over or go get some key for the gate in order to go around, and then of course here we go. That's what we have to do with our habits. Sometimes you have to fence it off. Yes, fence it off so that you can actually stop doing what it is that you are supposed to do. So one of the things we talk about is, if let us say, this is not applicable here, but suppose alcoholism is your problem, right? And your favorite bar is on Red Hills Road. Don't drive Manning's Hill. No go on Red Hills at all. That's what it is that we're talking about. Yes. All right. Oh. So it's supposed to be a short recap, but at the rate I'm going, it's not. All right. The 90-day process. So this is basically what it is. The first phase, this is a 3-phase operation, is to clarify your purpose. What is your vision? What are your aspirations? What are your goals? What is it that you really want? This picture of the ideal you, what does it look like? So that's the first phase, which is basically what we are doing. And then what are the thoughts? Because that's where it is. This is the thoughts that from the behavior, and you need to look at them. What kind of thoughts, what kinds of behaviors are aligned with that new you? And if we know that, then we can work towards getting it. So that's a very important thing. This part of it is critical, is that we know our why, so we know that we need to be different. And so we want to know how different. What does it look like? Let us spell it out in as much detail as possible as to what the new me is like. And then what are the thoughts? What are the behaviors that are aligned with that new me? How do I think? What kind of mindset do I have as I go forward? All right. And then the third phase, which is basically the moving out of the junk that we're not carrying forward with us. So we want to go look at the things that are not aligned. What are the things that are out of step? If I am that person, would I still think like this? No. So I have to get rid of that kind of thinking. That's the idea. That's the process, really. I want a new me. I want a new me because of these compelling reasons. My new me looks like this. This is who I am. Once upon a time, I used to stay so. I don't stay so no more. This is how I stay now. How I stay now? What kind of things are aligned to how I stay now? Well, I stop quarreling with people over little foolishness. I stop this and I start this. That's what it is that we're doing. That's what it is. And you remember that way that I used to fly off the handle? Well, I believe we don't do that anymore, because some things that used to bother me don't bother me anymore. That's what we're talking about. That's the process. So it is some new things that we want to put in place, but some of the junk we need to get rid of. Let me stop a little bit. I want to invite Brother Andre to share and ask anybody any questions and comments at this point in time. Are you aligned? Are you, desirous? Is this a journey that you want to go on? So that's the question, but I want Andre to also let's share. You there?
Yes, I'm here. I don't know if I can. Right. Well, I mean, I'm excited. I don't want to run too far ahead. I was kind of waiting until they get there.
Right.
As it relates to things that I would like to happen over the next 12 months. That 4 thing, and then
right.
Count down to 12.
Right.
I want to say something on that because my list dropped down to what, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, my list dropped down to 5.
Okay, good.
And I guess as it relates to developing the new pathway to ensure that those things are done, whether or not we can get into, I don't know. I don't know where you're going, but might can help. I don't know if we can help to coach 1 and 2 folks if somebody can come on and say, well, okay, I want to adjust, I want to do this. Are there some practical things that I can do to ensure that this is done? So I know that we're dealing with it from a cognitive standpoint primarily, but are there some practical things that we can put down? So for example, don't go on Ridder's Road.
Yeah, no one is very practical. That's what we're doing. The real,
you know, because sometimes I suspect we have to, I'm going to use this word, coach or advise people, you know, just say, look here, just don't do that. I mean, I know somebody gets it's easier said than done, all that, but sometimes we just need to be, I guess, instructed on not doing some of the obvious things. Discovery learning is great, and we come into an understanding of what we don't want to do, because for it to be aligned with that new goal. Yes, but I don't know if it's that we are prone to hearing don't. I don't know, but so that is you know, that is just my little 2 cents I want to add so far.
Dollar. All right, so thanks. All right, anybody wants to just come on and share a thought as to the journey? Is it something that sounds appealing, that you would want to do? Remember, it's a workshop. Remember, it is a an exercise that you're going to have to do daily for the 3 months. Yes, it's not a pass through. You just hear me and oh, it's all right, you know. It was interesting, you know. Oh, that was an interesting talk, Brother Smith. You know, it's I want to be beyond that. So, anybody coming with it on the journey? Don't sound so. We are all work Brother Andre, nobody. I'm not moving until at least one person coming on the journey, because what's the point when I drive the bus without anybody on it? Go ahead, Alison. You just saved the whole thing.
Well, I have a few things that I would want to be working on, but I guess to narrow it down, I'd want to really cement a positive self-belief, positive self-talk. That's one of the goals that I have written down.
Okay, cool. Well, that's a good start already. Somebody else had a hand up. I'm not sure. Like it was
It's me, Fayon.
Okay, go ahead, Shannon, please.
All right. My challenge isn't the start. It's going through with the process. So I like to start things but not complete it. So that would be my challenge.
Okay, let me tell you how. Let me see how you can work on that. Let's go. That was part of today's plan, but let us solidify where we are, though. So thanks, Ryan, and thanks, Alison. I appreciate that. All right, let's go forward. We're actually kind of doing over last time, but it's good. We also talked about that. Don't underestimate or overestimate your capacity to, you know, to do things, because unfortunately there are things that are outside of our control. And one of the things that we suggested is that you use faith as an anchoring process. You know, that is spiritual grounding. It makes a difference. And a matter of fact, that could be a big part of being a better you. But recognize that the struggle, as you see there, is not against flesh and blood. So there, you know, sometimes we have the will to do things, but unless we are able to call on more than ourselves in terms of, you know, going to God and committing all we do, you know, to Him and to establish our plans in Him, then that's basically going to make life easier, going to make it more possible, going to help you to believe that you can do it. Because sometimes we try to do things on our own, and it backfires, and it doesn't quite work, and we give up in frustration. So I'm just suggesting that if you immerse this plan in, in a spiritual framework where we look to God, and so prayer becomes a powerful part of what it is that you're doing. Then you'll be better off. And if you're on this slide, I just slipped this in now, the things you just spoke, not true. But this is there for you, that perseverance is absolutely no. You just, believe me, you just have to lock it down. It's just 90 days, so it's not forever. So once you have your compass set on where you want to go, then you have to make a commitment to just go ahead and just do the things. Yes. We see people that have weathered the storm, gone through, we see Paul and his shipwreck and all of these problems, right? And then you have people like even normal, human persons who are knocking around like Colonel Sanders, body run go eat the fried chicken. It's not easy. This is a man that was a firefighter, insurance salesman, and he had a little gas station that he used to sell some chicken in, and it's a long time in order for him to perfect the thing. So getting a new habit is not necessarily taking 9 years, but I'm only saying that perseverance has to be a big part of what it is that you want to do. All right. Okay. But at the same time, when you're setting up the destination, be careful that you are also realistic. It might be that if you're working in a clerical job where your pay is X, you might not be able to buy $100 million house next year through honest means. I'm only saying that. So let us be realistic when we're doing the planning. Don't underestimate the magnitude of the task. So understand what it is that you're trying to either add or subtract from who you are now, and understand that we're not looking at change as such. We're looking at transformation. We're looking at a wholesale difference, a new you, a renewal, right? And so understand that kind of commitment. So as we say, we're not tinkering at the edges. Renewal, full renewal is what we're looking at. And I suggest that you have some respected individual, somebody who is either coach, mentor, friend, but not one of them that you said, couldn't bother, and said, well, I understand, sometimes them things are just too hard. That's not who you want, right? You want some people that you're afraid. You could never come to John and say to John that you didn't do what you were supposed to do, right? So you actually then are committed. And then whatever mechanisms you have to ensure accountability. If exercise, for example, is what you're supposed to do at a certain time, make sure that you have all sort of alarm. Put the alarm way from you that you have to get up out of the bed. You can't just be something that you reach out and turn off. Those kinds of things. Ideally also you might have a partner who is, at the gate and blow, come out, we're waiting for you. All I'm saying is do not overestimate your capacity to transform your life by yourself. Not as easy as it might sound. All right. So go ahead, sir.
Do you find that sometimes, maybe even in a small amount, but do you find that sometimes we use reality as a means to hold us back?
Oh boy. There's a whole session for me. You shouldn't open that door, because sometimes I'm the biggest fighter against somebody who said to me, but I'm just being realistic. It is a cop-out of the highest order, where people just use that to not do. So don't get me started on there. So when you see me put that there, it's with great trepidation that I actually inserted. So, but yeah, you have to be realistic. but it's not the kind of crazy thing to say, I can't do this and, I have to. It is really a major cop-out where people use it. I'm just being realistic. And, yeah, transformation might not be, quote unquote, realistic because you're remaking yourself. Yeah. What you expect at the end of the day is that people would see a difference in you. Yes. Things I used to do, I don't do them anymore. That's basically what it is. And so people are going to say, what happened? I think there is a song where they say, so what happened? How did this take place? What did you do? And I think the response is that is not me, but it's God that continuing to work on me. That's the kind of idea that we need to have. All right. So let's go down to this 90 days. This is work now. This is work that we're going to set you to do. That's where Brother Andre was now. So the 90-day process is revisit your vision, your mission, your strategy, right? So that's where we start. And as we navigate through life, we're going to get clarity, really, the direction then, and the destination. You need to know where you want to go, and at least the direction in which that lies. Yes, we must at least have that. So we can set the compass and say, well, okay, fine. I believe that where I want to go is north, set it to north, and at least you can move in that direction. You might not clarify it. So let us break that down into practical terms. I might not know exactly what. I can't maybe write a full essay and outline every aspect of the new me, the kind of person that I would like to be. But I know there are some things that are not in my life now that I would want. And there are some things in my life now that I want to get to. So at least you have that kind of direction, that kind of idea. For example, let us use an example, maybe a relationships, right? Relationship. Maybe I've gone through a traumatic relationship. I've gone, a situation that really was painful. And since that, I have not really entered into or even contemplated entering into a serious relationship. So that is a potential practical case. However, when you look at life, at a young age, whatever it is, are you really committed to spending the rest of your life alone? Would you want to have a family? Are there aspirations that you have that could better be achieved with a partner? So those are the whys now that are coming in to say, well, okay, why do I want to have a different perspective about relationships? And if we look at then some of the pain points, some of the things that you would have to give up if you decide to hold on to this idea that, I'm not entering and that I will never get hurt again. If you hold on to this, are there things that you are giving up? Are there things that you would want to happen in your life? In which case, then, it might be that you're not fully clear, exactly know what kind of person, whatever it is. But at least you know that one thing is that I need to be more open to relationships, to discussing the possibility of having a meaningful relationship. I also know that I have to drop this, find a way to deal with the trauma, find a way to reprocess, that's not the word I'm looking for, it's to reframe. That's my word, that's the word. We have to reframe the trauma in a way that allows you to go forward and enter into a meaningful relationship. That's just one practical example. That's all I'm saying to you. You don't have to have everything nailed down, in concrete terms, but at least you know the direction in which you want to move, and the direction of some of the things that you have to get rid of. So part of that then would be to look at this overarching purpose. And for me, one of the overarching purpose would be, what am I here for? What is, if at the end of the day, if I'm on my rocking chair at age 80 or whatever it is, when I look back, what have I need of this life? And look at number 4 is, why am I here? And so going back to the relationship thing, if I am to be to fulfilled, if I am to achieve, a grand purpose in life, should I be held back by this traumatic experience or not? Those are questions. That's the kind of thinking that I'm suggesting that we need to look at. All right. Let me pause there. Any input, questions about that? And this, go ahead, Rod.
I do think, brother, that why am I here? What do I want? What is my goal? Do I want to remain? I'm going to use this for lack of a better term. Do I want to remain in pain? Where do I see my life 5 years from now? What kind of steps am I putting in place to achieve a new outcome for my life here and now? I do believe, as you have rightly stated, that there are critical questions that we need to ask ourselves, and whether or not it's saying we want to give ourselves that chance for a different or a better outcome, because everybody is working on their 5-year plan or taking themselves out of a crisis, so to speak. And sometimes, I'm just saying, sometimes they may not be there for you. So therefore, do you plan to be there for yourself? Do you plan to be there for yourself? Do you plan to give yourself a chance? And so I think that is a critical question. Sometimes we allow our burdens to feel so overwhelmed that we can't even start to begin to think about delivering ourselves, to think what delivering ourselves. And so just to have that mindset, or to create that mindset in folks, I do believe it's quite essential to help us to swim on our own, because people can't swim for us.
Amen, boss. All right, so let's get practical. Again, continue the practical focus here. So sometimes it's hard for somebody to just come up with a vision or the mission, the strategy. What is it that it's difficult. So there is a process that we recommend, and that is that you have, again, whether it is a spreadsheet, 4 sheets of paper, whatever, 4 files, Word files, whatever it is. But what you're going to do is just write down. So for the next 12 months, anything. You want to buy a new pair of shoes, you want to see this particular movie, anything. I'm being as basic as that. Now, I'm not talking about moving Blue Mountain or wherever. Just over the next 12 months, just write down freely anything that you would want to have happen. All right. Do that also for the next 3 to 5 years. Do the same thing. So creating different lists, 5 to 10 years, and then 10 years and beyond. All right. So you're just writing down. You're not saying, no, that's not necessary. And you're not trying to look for some real fancy major things. You're just going to write down things that you want. All right. So from your 4 lists now, you go back through each of the 4 lists, and you take out 3 of the most compelling things from each list. Yeah. So that is where a little more work comes now. Having done that, you kind of strike out some of them because they're very similar, and some of them are not really significant. But there are some things that jump out that, okay, fine, I need to have this settled in this time period. So that's your four lists, and you're going to pull out three compelling things. You have the most compelling things from that. So at the end, you're going to end up with 12 things. And those 12 things should be your compass. Those 12 things should define the new you. That's basically it. If you look at those 12 things, it should cover, it should give you clarity as to who you want to be going forward. Because what it does then, it looks at your short-term goals, which is your 12 months, and it also looks at your long-term goals, which is your 10 plus years, but also then some practical things in between. Why do we want to do some of the long-term things? Because sometimes in the quest for our short-term goals, we miss up the possibility of achieving certain things down the road, which would have been more important. So it's a question then of, do we want to look at early gratification, or do we want to look at sustainability? So those are some of the things. All right, so a practical example again would be, so we want to, no, don't go there. All right, we want to get a car, all right? We just believe a car is important, to get around with what it is that we do. But based on the salary that we're earning, we really can't get the kind of car that we want. So we need to look at second job, right? So we get pushing to get a second job is there. But by getting a second job, we can't study. We can't do any more study because we're just working right on the clock. So yes, we earn the money and we get the car, but we only have a school leavers certificate. What implications would that have for years 3, 5, 10 down the road, where, yeah, we have a car, but we have actually placed a limit on our earning capacity because we have not decided to take the bus and go get some additional certification. Is this making sense? Where we need to have a view of all of the things so that you can see that if things are out of alignment, we might not end up where we want to go over the long haul. I don't like a quiet crew, I like to have a sense that I'm making sense. Okay, but anyway, the key now is please do this exercise. So initially, what you're doing, you just put down things, just write the list, and then you can come back and narrow and narrow. Last week, Brother Andre had his 12. Now he has actually reduced it to less than 12. So the key then is to make sure that you have a full list, and you can adjust it as you go along. It's not a once forever. You can adjust. Some things might come up, some new opportunities might come up that you might want to say, okay, fine, I want to insert that. Can you be committed, please, to just at least do this piece? I'm telling you, it makes a difference. It would give you some clarity as to why you're here, what are the issues. In other words, what is going to come up out of some of this, is some of the things that you wake up with first thing on your mind. Oh my gosh, this is still around. Or it could be, oh yeah, maybe I have a chance to do this. It's important for you to do this exercise because it actually provides you with a compass now. You know the direction in which you want to go. You know some of the things that you want to address. And you know that if you're going to address these things, there are certain mindsets, there are certain actions, there are certain thoughts that have to go into the process. This, believe me, is a key factor in getting you to be a better you. This is the underpinning of the transformation that we talk about. So I suppose I did this at the beginning. Right? Part of this is that bear in mind that as we go through, even now, as I'm speaking to you, physical changes are being made to your brain, which will affect how you behave. So one of the things that we have to look at then is you have to alter some of the way that you have been thinking, look at new experiences, gather new information, and create, like, as I said, new memories. Start to find a new path so you don't cut across the grass and spoil up a nice lawn. Find a way around. Yeah, that's basically what it is. So as we see in number 2 there, learning new things with key. Go to travel, engage in creative activities. All of this is to sort of get your brain to be more active in terms of the neuroplasticity. Also, sleep. Yes, believe you me, I suppose there's going to be a series on that. I am amazed at how important sleep. Man that used to try work long hours and go on, and you have to get this done, so you just stay up longer. It's not good, not good. Sleep is like the next medication. That's what they are saying, because that's when the brain cleans out some of the stuff and refreshes itself, etc. And of course, exercise and proper dieting. So we know all of that. All right. The other thing that I look at is affirmations. This whole idea that you actually write up things on your mirror and you say wonderful, powerful things. Yes, I am decisive. Yes, I get along well with people. And you can use some of all of that. It helps. It helps to get you in a better state. So you avoid the negative self-talk, and you actually talk. And one of the things that I strongly recommend I would do that is when you wake up, gratitude. Have a gratitude session. Where you can break it down to as simple as, Father, thank you that I can touch, I can feel, I can hear, I can smell, I can taste, I give you thanks that I know where all of this is coming from, and who you are, and the fact that you have opened, my eyes as to all of those kinds of things. One powerful, even stronger use of gratitude is where you have supported others and the person has come to tell you thanks. So again, that is one of the things that the science is suggesting, that is extremely powerful, where you can actually go back. We're not gloating or anything, but it is that you can remember that you helped this person, and the individual has come and said, you don't understand how much I appreciate what you did. The more of those kinds of gratitude, whatever experiences, is the even more powerful it is. That's going to put you in another place. So how would you get that? Well, you have to help people. You have to reach out. So it's a kind of a, I don't know if you want to call it self-fulfilling, but those are powerful though, where it is indicating that the third party, then if you want to come, that actually somebody came and said, thank you very much. I really appreciate what you did for me. See if you can have those kinds of experiences, because yes, it is good also to give thanks for what it is that you have been blessed with, but also it's even better when you can actually reflect on how you have used your blessing to bless others. Just putting it out here. All right. So I will tap into, let us go and put these up quickly. Oops, on fire. Okay. So how we're going to create. So this is some practical things again. So now you have your 12. I call them your life-changing dozen. These are things that you want manifested in your life. These are goals, vision, whatever it is that you want to call them. That's the focus. So what you want to do is to have a list of words or phrases that capture the features of a life that manifests these 12 things. Right? So I just give you some examples. I would love, please beg you, come out of your shell and just share a phrase or two as to what it will be like for you to achieve your ideal state. You don't have to go into telling me what that ideal state is, but what are some of the phrases that you would like to have manifested in your life, that you could describe your life in this way? For example, I just gave you some, like, I am diligent, that's like an affirmation. I get along well with others, I consistently achieve my objectives. So those are the kinds of ideas. I want us to do that before I go into number 4. Anybody can just share a phrase, an idea as to something that they would like to have manifested in their lives, and as a, in the new you.
I have one.
Go ahead, sir.
I often ask myself, to what end?
What?
I often ask myself, to what end? I say, if I'm doing something, I say, to what end? And so I try to carry it out to its logical end. And if it makes sense to do it, then I'm motivated to do it. If I'm talking both in a good way and a bad way, if I'm talking with something and I ask myself, to what end? And I carry it out to its logical conclusion, and I realize that I'm going to still come out a loser, I'm going to be in pain and whatever, then that's a motivation not to continue. To what end?
Brilliant. All right. I see a hand. Carolyn, is it? Or someone? Sorry. Oops.
Hello, good night.
Yeah, I'm
So
sorry.
I am secure, I am focused, I am happy, I'm at peace.
Can't go wrong with that. All right. Yeah. So those are some of the things. And if we keep on, making that come through. All right, let me get another one first, and then I want to share some practical things as to how that actually would be manifested in your life. Thanks, Caroline. Appreciate it. Anybody else? I need one more, please. Remember, this is a workshop, please. All right, let me bring up my list. I'm calling names now. A roll call and pull out people. Let me see where I'm going to land. A, B, C, D, element, M. Let me see if we can find an M. Oh, Marlon, okay. Random Marlon, random, right? It's totally random. Marlon, you have a mic? Or you can't speak? All right. All right, so if you can't catch the husband, catch the wife. Kim, give me a phrase. Maybe they're otherwise engaged. Right? Oh boy. Nobody? Cherie, I know that Cherie don't have a problem. She will always willing to share. Cherie, give me a phrase. Give me something that you would like to see in your, in your life, for you, what you would like to be.
I would like to say.
Go ahead. Give me some phrases, some words that would describe the new you. Sorry, I didn't hear. Go again.
Resilience.
Resilient.
Sometimes I procrastinate. I'm working. That's what I need to be working.
Yeah, what?
Sometimes I procrastinate. Let me tell you, that's what I need to be working. Procrastinate.
I'm not hearing it properly, unfortunately. I don't know if anybody is here has heard clearly, but yeah, I think I heard I think I heard resilient. I'm not
Resilient.
sure. Yeah.
Hear me now?
And is it worthy? Did you say worthy?
No.
She said procrastinate.
Sometimes.
Okay. All right, but you don't want that, right?
No, say something we
Right.
work
So
on.
one of the lessons that we want to have here is that when we are doing affirmations, and even worse with the ones that I'm going to talk about in terms of the empowering why, you do not introduce negatives because the subconscious don't make a distinction. So you're not going to say, I don't procrastinate, or I no longer procrastinate. That's not it, Yeah. So you want to have the positive, which is, I do I do the right things at the right time in the right way for the right reasons. That's the replacement for procrastinate. I do the right things at the right time in the right way and for the right reasons. Bam. That's positive. That's there. You don't have any questions now. Please, every time you do these kinds of things, don't talk about what you don't want. Okay, this is not a time to talk about that. You have to talk about who you are now. Critical. Do not go about it. Yeah. Oh boy, I'm so tired. I don't know. Sometimes I get so confused. No, hope that helps. No. All right. So the big one is what is called, again, this is going into neuroscience now, that the brain's duty is to find answers. That's why God gave us this massive supercomputer thing, it's to find answers. I tired of say it now, but this is the reason why you can't find the car key, and you just get frustrated and say, let me go drink some water, whatever it is. And as you stop bother the brain say, hey, you left it, in the bathroom. Go back and pick it up. Thank you, brain. Right? But if you are there now, harassed and go and be upset and late, and the brain will say, this confusion, they can't think in this confusion, Trevor. Go sit down, keep yourself quiet and give me find the car key. That's what it is. That's proven that let it go. That's why one of the things that they suggest strongly is that just before you go off, you're saying that the kind of dozing period, that's the perfect period to set the brain task. So you want to say to the brain when you lie down comfortable, set up your relax now, put your cover, and don't whatever. Is in that moment before you actually fall off, place things before the brain that you wanted to work on while you could sleep, and the brain cut up. And then you get up in the morning, you're saying, all right, fine. You ever have that issue where you're writing something or you have a problem or whatever it is, and you struggle and you can't bother, like anymore, you're tired and say, something, let me go sleep. And you go and sleep, and in the morning, when you come back to the thing, it's just so clear. It's just so clear what you have to do. So stop harassing your brain. Give it a chance. As a matter of fact, one of the things that talks about that in the transformation is that you should find times in the day. Listen to me, all of you workaholics, find time where you stop, if what you want to call it, daydream or walk or do something. Give the brain a chance to solve some of the problems that you are occupying yourself with. Stop, give it some chance, give it thing, go walk out, look at the roses, do something else. Powerful. But let's go here in terms of words and phrases. What we call empowering questions. Use the brain's duty. Its responsibility is to find answers. So instead of saying, I am diligent, the empowering approach is to say, why am I so diligent? Guess what? Do not answer the question. Don't bother say to yourself, when you ask yourself, why am I so diligent? You say to yourself, Trevor, you know how you're lazy and you're idle and whatever it is. What kind of question that you have? No, please leave the brain to come with an answer. What will happen? So then we just go through the street. Why am I so diligent? Ask it. Why do I get along so well with others? Man, it's amazing. I mean, seriously, how do I get along so well with people? Ask the question, and the more passion and the more thing you ask, the better the question. Why do I consistently achieve my objectives? No matter that we have missed 20 deadlines, no matter ask that. What happens then if you consistently ask these questions is that the brain will go about finding reasons why this might be so. And what it will do, then you will start to get prompts that moves you towards being more diligent. So the next time you kiss the teeth and say, so me can't bother. There will be a prompt to say, no, man, come and do it. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah. And the next time it is come up pure bad mind people, we can't bother with them. There's going to be something that the brain will use to align you. And over time, you're going to find that these things are more manifested in your life. If you don't believe it, it sounds like hocus pocus, but try it now. You don't have anything to lose. Just try it. What it is, this is like brain building. This is like managing your mind, changing, transformation. This is part of the transformation. Yeah. That is required of us. The Romans talk about it. Renewal of the mind. All right. Can't bother ask people again because it looks like I'm pulling teeth. But if you want to jump on, please jump on. This is not hocus pocus. It's not idle time. Work at it. Ask the questions about things. Remember, nothing negative. Yes? No, don't. Why don't I do this? Why am I not that? No negatives. Only the positive. Exactly what it is that you want. Why am I so diligent? Why do I get things done when I'm supposed to get it done? And believe you me, it's like I'm a superhuman. Believe, unbelievable how I'm so efficient. Why am I so efficient? Why am I so effective? Why people just crawl out. Why do I get along so well with others? Yeah. Hope this takes in a direction. Please don't call any psychiatrist. I'm not crazy. This is stuff that will make a difference in your life and carry you to being a better you. All right. So that was last week, like this week too. So what we had looked at is the clarifying the process. So this is your 12, right? This number 1 should have been your 12. See somebody in the chat. So we have to retrain, educate our minds. That is it. That is it. Yeah. The whole idea is a retraining, a renewal, completely send back your brain to school, the mind to school. So that is it. So they clarify the purpose, the vision. So if you do the exercise, go again, tell you about it. It's like next 12 months, 3 to 5 years, 5 to 10, and 10 plus. Just put down stuff, and then at the end of the day, you go back and take out the 3 most compelling things for each of those periods, and that's your 12 transformational things. When you get that done, you start to just put down phrases like we're talking about here that capture it. Yeah. So you talk in the present tense. You don't say, I would like to be so and so. You talk about it as it is. Why am I so effective? Why do I? Why do I solve my problems? Why do I? It's a no thing spoken like that. And what you want to do now, which is where we are now, is to look at things that are not aligned with that new you. So Marlon says, can the empowering why be asked in the absence of whatever characteristics we are asking? Why am I so diligent? Even if I'm not, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Please, yes, it is where you want to go. You are not in a position, Marlon, to determine whether you are not. This is your aspiration. This is where you are, but you ask your brain effectively to find a way to get you there. And what the brain doesn't like is confusion. It don't want to have things that don't make sense. So if you are positing to the brain, and by the way, we have run from our subconscious, right? So understand that principle. We can talk about that another time. But if I keep saying that I am diligent, yes, the brain is saying, but some of these actions are not aligned to diligence. It's what is, yeah. So Trevor is a diligent person, because bear in mind that is how the subconscious works. When you affirm things, when you say, okay, like it's a real thing. So if Trevor is diligent, he's sleeping over instead of get up and go to work and say that he have headache or whatever it is. It's not thing. Someone will take 2 friends or whatever it is and get up and go to work. You understand what that's basically what will happen is that we need to sort it out, because we can't live with the two things. These actions are not aligned with this statement that I hear and get pounded in my head every day, several times a day. So we understand that is how now we would actually get the transformation, because the brain is going to say, conflict here. This action is not aligned with this. And you're holding firm by making the statement effectively that I am like this. Well, Trevor, if you are like this, these actions don't fit. So something have to go. That's how it works. So please don't even reflect on it and say, man, this is a joke. I feel the words can't even come out of my mouth to say, why am I diligent when I know that I'm such a slacker. Go ahead, Sister Sandra.
Faith, sometimes when you try to say these things to yourself, you feel a little uncomfortable because they conflict with this notion of humility and being humble. You can't be saying these things, So how you reconcile the two,
All right. It depends on what kind of things you're talking about. That would not be humble.
I'm efficient and I'm diligent, and
those things. I don't see any lack of humility if I'm saying that I'm efficient and I'm diligent, etc. It's something that I would want. If you want to look at something boastful, that's another matter. But who wouldn't want to be? I mean, why wouldn't I want to be diligent? I want to be a slacker.
No, but you just feel uncomfortable sometimes.
I know what you mean exactly, and that's why I was going into the depth with the Marlon thing is that, Trevor, you know that you have 10 deadlines that miss, but you're going to say that you always get things done. Why do I get things done the right time, at the right time, in the right way, and for the right way? Yeah, but ask it. Distract yourself so that you don't start to send other signals to the subconscious. Just ask it and leave it. Ask it passionately.
Okay.
Consistently. Let me basically what is critical here, right? Is that another analogy. We talk about the lawn, but there's another analogy which is pretty close to really what it is. It's like a CD. So all our actions are actually trapped on this CD. And you know how the CD is done is that they have this laser thing that actually put up, whatever it is. That's how you put the information on the CD, right? So basically our life is that. And we just play the CD. So a trigger come and it go to this point of the CD and it plays the behavior. Go drop here, another it play that CD. Now in order to change and to be transformed, we almost have to rewrite the whole CD. So we can't be bashful in terms of saying, okay, but look at all of these behaviors that come from these triggers. Am I realistic in terms of asking my subconscious, or suggesting to my subconscious that this is not a reality? No, you're going to be stuck. You really have to get to a place now where, and the consistency of the ask and the consistency of the actions have to be there as well, because you have to rewrite the CD, basically. And that's one of the things that we would suggest again, that you don't try and rewrite the whole thing, but look at some of the critical behaviors that you want to get rid of, which is where we were going, are supposed to be going now. Look at the triggers, try to preempt the triggers, and definitely have some kind of corrective action when, if you actually fall into the trap of following the trigger. That's where it is. it is that magnitude of task we're talking about, where there is this live CD that's there. And guess what with the CD? The CD can only play what is there. It can't play anything else. So when the thing laser beam goes here, it has to curse. Or when it goes there, it has to lust. Because that's what is there. That's what you have laid out there. So the only way to deal with it is to rub out that and that's why you want a rewrite CD, baby. Is to rewrite it. I've said that with like too much mirth. Let me go back to this. Basically, what I'm saying is once the beam hit this, it's going to play what is there. It can't play anything else because that is there. So there's absolutely no point in our saying, yeah, man, I get this. I'm going to do all of that power on this thing, unless you rewrite your CD. When the thing come, the trigger come, bam, it can only play that. You have to remove that or stop the laser beam from go on those sections of the CD. That's the only way. So it's not a joke task. That is why sometimes when you say to people, well, you can't just understand that is not as easy as that. They might very well be trying, but they just don't know how. And that's why we have sessions like this, where I can help you to look at some ways that we can do make a difference. All right. So yeah, Sister Sandra, believe me, it's not easy. It sounds like foolishness. Some of the aspirations that you have, and you ask the question, but it's the only way. I'll put it this way, it is a good way to go about it, because you need to break it down and you need to look beyond what it is that has been and try to write a new phase in your life. All right. So thanks for the questions. It's very important. So we're gonna just do a quick start on this part in terms of your mental toxicity. That's the problem that we have. That is the problem that we have with our lives, is that we come into this world with a clean CD, clean, not perfect. And it is what is put on it. And one again, we had a parenting session, maybe we need to go back there as well. The responsibility of parents in terms of helping to create some things on that CD for your little baby. Mercy, man, mercy. That responsibility is there. It can make such a huge difference as to what it is that comes out of it. And, as we build the brain and as we give it the capacity, the resilience we talk about, that is part of the thing. That's why we need to teach them to read, give them information that is good, healthy information. Don't let them just sit down because you want to have what you're doing and give them a little phone, where they sit down and just play the game the whole day. Try to see how we can actually put them in a place. Give them a chance to choose the clothes that they can wear. It's not much. Okay, fine, you have a little quiet discussion with them. But give them a chance to make decisions. Those are some of the things that will help them later on. Let them understand what is right and what is wrong. Okay, that's not a parenting seminar. Let me go back to this. Boy, it's so hard. We need hours of these things. I have so much. All right, anyway, so in an area of this detox, everybody, I don't know, if many of you might be here, that you have gone into the juice detox or the cabbage, soup, because physical health now is a big thing, and a lot of people are doing it. But while we're looking at the physical, the body, that part of the thing, the brain is going through the same thing. As a matter of fact, the brain might be getting more junk in than you are able to consume in your food and what you drink. And so the mind needs some serious detoxification. And that's basically where we want to go now. So as we are looking at, we have the vision, we have the 12, we have the compass, and we know where we're going. But you have to clean out some stuff, girl. You have to clean out some stuff. Yeah. And So this is the whole concept of this thing called toxic stress, that we come as we're going through life, we're going to be fearful. Somebody will annoy us, somebody will bad drive us. We will try to do something and we can't get it done, frustration. We set an exam, when I get through, we fail. The neighbor dog come over, dig up every one of rose plant. It's just annoying. Do I poison him? No, I can't poison him because that's not part of the Christianity. What may I do then? Cannot listen, danger, man shoot people down the road from my house. What may I do now? All sort of, oh man, I'm just bombarded. And look at it, war, this one, gas price. My gosh, the only thing that I can think now is, oh my God, that I'm, soon be gone. I'm sorry for my grandchildren. Right, yes, sure, lots of work for the brain. But I'm just saying to you, if you just listen to that little narrative there, suppose that is my daily routine, where I'm on the news and that's it. I'm just bombarded with that, and that's weird things. I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm going through that. In that process that's going on there, I am doing some serious damage to my brain, mental health. I just want to go to this place and then I'm going to wrap up. So Carolyn Leaf, by the way, is very, very interesting content that she puts up, noted neuroscientist. So she talks about this toxic stress that I'm talking about here. And these are 4 critical things if you look at what we're doing to ourselves and why the detox process is important. 1, physically, again, it impacts this frustration, this annoyance with your neighbor, this fear that gunman will run over, come over, this thing with your boss that you can't see eye to eye with them, this colleague that really drives you crazy, this exam that you try to pass and feel that you can make it happen. All of those things impacts our biochemistry and brain function and actually increase our risk of neurological disorders, things like dementia later on, right? It also lowers our immunity, putting us at risk of higher risk of disease. But listen to this one. This one is the one that scared me. There are a number of studies, says not just one study, indicate that close to 90% of conditions like cancer, is not bad luck, diabetes and heart disease are caused by toxic stress. Cancer, yes. Diabetes, somebody said diabetes is an eating disorder, but it's also a mental disorder. Think about that, 90% of conditions like those are caused by toxic stress. So we understand why we have to start to process information in a different kind of way. We cannot allow toxic stress to just come eat. Who went to try and eat junk? Well, we do actually, but city ministry tried to say, well, stop thinking the whole sweet drink. Yes. And stop, eat the whole salt. Would that show or stop smoking? There's a long time before people would stop until you start to show the X-ray with the black lungs and whatever it is. But even then, people still continue. And so, as we are informed, we are doing the same thing. We're putting smoking damage to our brains when we allow toxic stress to just come in, when we're not able to process the frustration, the anger, the stress, the danger in a way that's positive. We have to reframe these things in a way that are less toxic. Here's the big one now. So you don't care about yourself because you're soon dead. Yes, maybe that's what you said. But those changes actually affect the gene structure and activity so that the negative effects are passed on to the next generation. So if you be careful that you're not thinking about yourself, well, think about the next generation. I think we're going to leave it there, Ron, and you wrap it up. I don't want to go beyond, but oh boy, I'm sorry. Let's leave it at that. I think we're going to do the second part anyway. So some questions, please, some comments. This is not intended to scare you, but maybe it is in a sense. Seriously, I wish to some extent that sometimes some of this information wasn't available, because it kind of, not scary in a sense, but it puts a responsibility upon you to take these things more seriously and to share as well as the pass on, because we can be walking through oblivious as to the dangers that's happening. Yeah. So yeah, we're responding to life's unfolding events, and some of us respond differently. Some of us internalize things a lot more. Some of us really are more concerned, or feel less capable of addressing the events that are coming our way. But it makes a difference. So what that difference means is that some of us might be better able to manage the toxicity and therefore live healthier lives. And some of us, unfortunately, might develop conditions that arise from a weaker immunity system. Part of NAV life is to help us to navigate through life in all its facets, in all its areas. And one of the things that we are saying here is take this matter seriously. Take this matter seriously. We can manage our minds. God equips us with the capacity to do so. And we need to take it seriously and reach out, help others as well as ourselves. Brother Andre, I give you the second to last word, and then Rowan has the last wrap up.
Well, I mean, I have to say is excellent. That's all I have to say, really. But especially in light of psychology, well, let's put it this way. If we adhere to some of the things that you have shared, it's going to put me out of a job. That's my last word.
All right. I'm sorry then. I have to come back in then. Forget all that I've said. I don't want to go out of work. All right. Okay. Anybody else wants to share? What I love to do in these sessions, is just ask someone if you could just give me a takeaway, one takeaway, something that struck you, some card that, resonate with you. If you could just do that, you know what it does for me? One, it helps me to feel as if we're providing information in a way that is helpful, but also it reinforces for others and for yourself. So I see a hand up. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not navigating as well as I could. Alison, my rescuer. Oh.
Yeah. I think the takeaway, and it's something that, personally, I would have known and experienced, but it's always good to remember just how much we can set ourselves up or not based on how we think. Based on how we think, without realizing it, sometimes the way that we talk about ourselves or the way that the things that we say to ourselves, they play out almost like clockwork in the situations in our lives, at least for me. So it's just important to kind of redirect what I say about myself, or what we say about ourselves, what we think about ourselves, to get a different outcome.
Brilliant. Self-talk is so important. Thanks, Alison. One other, and then Rowan, that's you. Please.
In so much, I came in
kind of late on the class, but it's so much information here, and this toxic stress that you just mentioned. I'm just blown away with the amount of that I live with, and I have kind of covered myself with over the years. I don't know how I'm going to fix that. And sometimes I want to say, I'm thinking, well, am I going to be able to fix this in my lifetime? That 10-year span you're talking about to rewrite your disc. I don't know if I have 10 years left here. I'm an older woman now.
All right, Sister Carmen, please come the first Saturday. Come on time. And then not getting into Brother Andre's area, but there are some detoxification things that we can do. I'm going to talk 10 years. Remember, the whole goal of this session is 90 days to a better you. So
I think I'll be here 90 days. I have to
set your alarm, right? 6:30 Jamaica time. I think you're in the States, 7:30 your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure that you come on time though.
I know, I just was out, so.
Okay. All right.
It just blows my mind.
Great. Thank you very much, Sister Carmen. So Marlon says, grateful for the workshop. As always, I appreciate the practical steps that I can go back and look on as I endeavor to effect positive change in my mind. I'm happy that it's not so vague as a lot of the self-help stuff we see on the social media a lot of the time. Solid step-by-step instructions. Thank you, sir. All right. All right. That's it. Rolling up. Rolling down the shutters. Right. Circle. Brother Rohan, are you there? Thanks, Carla. Thank you. Please come on time. First Saturday in May, which looks like the 7th of May. Put it in your calendar. Put a reminder before it. And come. We want to look at how we can actually change some lives and tell people about it. Go on. Otherwise, I'm going to ramble on a little bit more.
All right, no problem. Thank you so much, Brother Smith. Very rich information, as is evidenced by the feedback. Thank you so much for sharing with us. For me particularly, I think this toxic stress is more what stood out for me in terms of my personal comment. But thank you very much for the depth and research done as it relates to your presentation this evening. Thanks for everyone for joining us, for members of the church, or if you're a member of the church or not, thank you so much for joining us. As far as our NAB Live sessions are concerned, these are every first and third Saturdays. And we have a grief therapy session on the final Saturday of every month, starting at 6:30. But before we close off this evening, I'm just going to ask Brother Marlon if you're going to just say a word of prayer as we close just before the announcements. Brother Marlon?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Let's go to God in prayer. Eternal and most righteous God, we are truly grateful for another opportunity that you have allowed us to be gathered in this manner to use this medium to participate in this workshop geared towards navigating life in this present age. Lord, we are truly grateful for the church to have put forward this idea. We're truly grateful for the persons whose heart you laid it on to have this avenue available. We especially want to give thanks for Brother Andrew Allen Casey, Brother Trevor Smith, and all the others who put out such tremendous effort each and every time we gather here to put forward the different materials, the different lessons, steps that we as individuals can use to better our lives, to better our minds as we traverse this mortal plane. we again want to thank you, Father, for the inspiration that you have given them and the skill sets that you have given them in order to help them to help us. We again want to ask that you bless these persons, that you continue to help them to excel in their areas, and that as we continue to meet in this manner, that we'll continue to benefit from these sessions, that more and more persons will see the need and the benefit of these sessions, and that more persons will come out and we all may gain from it. Heavenly Father, we continue to ask a blessing upon the church at St. Andrew, and indeed wherever she meets, we ask, Lord, that you will guide us and allow us to meet again at the next opportune time. Bless us once more, we ask. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Brother Marlon. So we just invite you to please share the information, the content, the information as it relates to where to find the recordings are on the screen, on Facebook, on YouTube, at our channel, simplychristiansga.com. The handle is Simply Christians GA. You can see the recordings for all our sessions in terms of NAV Life. They're all online at these locations, as well as our worship services and our Bible classes. Before we close, just inviting you that you can join us for our worship services. We meet every Sunday starting at 9 o'clock at 77 Red Hills Road. 77 Red Hills Road, and our Bible class begins at 10:30 on same Sunday. You can also use this same link that you're using now to join us, whether for worship service or Bible classes. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to your presence in another of our events, whether it's another NAB Live session or our worship services. Thank you so much again to Brother Smith and Brother Andre for this evening's presentation. Be safe, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.